Hey everyone, I'm Michael Seiger, publisher of DomainSherpa.com, and this is the DomainSherpa Review. This is the show where we get into the minds of successful domain name investors, people we call Sherpas, and we talk about specific domain names so that we can learn strategy and tactics. Our sponsors include nichewebsites.com, a service that builds and ranks your website so that you can focus on your business. Esterbot.com, a domain name appraisal and productivity tool set. And DNX.com, a reverse domain name auction marketplace with great domains at fair prices. All three sponsors have links in the upper right-hand corner of all pages on DomainSherpa.com. Joining us today on the Domain Sherpa Review are four past Sherpas and thought leaders in the industry. From left to right, we have Adam Dicker, CEO of DNForum.com, nichewebsites.com, and publisher of theartofthename.com. Michael Berkens, publisher of thedomains.com, co-founder of Right of the Dot, and founder of the Most Wanted Domains Marketplace. Paige Howe, founder and president of the JoeDomains.com marketplace and DomainOutlet.com, where I think we're going to have some more Sherpa specials right after this show, so get over there and check them out. And Rick Schwartz, the Domain King and co-founder of the Traffic Domain Name Industry Conference. Gentlemen, welcome to this week's show.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
As usual, we're going to go through three sections on the show. The first section, we're going to go through two submitted domain name portfolios from individual investors. Number two, we're going to go through an auction list to find out what's valued right and what's overpriced. Finally, available or registered, where I try to put on my poker face and trick the Sherpas into thinking a domain name is the opposite of what it is. I've got some good ones for you guys today. Two warnings before we get started. Be smart about what you buy. Do your research. Go read Rick's blog, thedomains.com. Ask questions on dnforum.com. Adam has a whole section over there just for beginners to the industry. Or you can watch any of the 130 plus domain interviews that I've done with people on Domain Sherpa and get in depth on any number of topics. Do your due diligence before buying. And if you don't know what due diligence is, go watch that show on due diligence. I always ask the Sherpas if they have any potential financial benefit from any of the names that we're going to discuss on today's show. Gentlemen, Do you have any?
Nope.
All right.
Nope. Thankfully not.
So we're going to move right into the first section. In the domain portfolio review, we take user-submitted domain name portfolios and provide honest and constructive feedback to the owner. These are people who submitted their portfolios to us to review, and they want real feedback. I want to point out that if you're watching the show on YouTube, you need to click on the link in the description on YouTube to take you to DomainSherpa.com, and then you can see the lists of domains that we're discussing on today's show. Also, a great idea. A reader submitted a great comment last week. I believe it was Cassie. My apologies if it wasn't Cassie. I didn't write down the name. I was traveling when I wrote up my notes for the show. And he suggested that before watching this show, that you go and you look at the 3 domain lists for yourself and determine what you think is valuable, worthless, a trademark issue, or a monetization opportunity. Then watch this show and compare your notes to what the Sherpas are saying. I thought it was a great idea. Thanks for suggesting it. And if you want to do that now, you can pause the video or the audio and then go do that and then come back and pick up where you left off. So the first domain name list was submitted by Jeff Staniforth. The domain portfolio starts with apartmentsnowselling.com and ends with what'sontvguide.com. Jeff also submitted a question that I'll ask the Sherpas after we go through a few areas of the portfolio. But I want to know to start what the best domains are on the list. Adam, let's start with you. What do you like on the list?
What do I like on the list? I mean, maybe the kids shop because it's somewhat brandable. Main box office or main ticket office, but it needs work and it's brandable. I mean, I think ru18.com for a model agency would be pretty cool. That's really all that I can see. Oh, conveyance kit, because it's the transfer of property from one person to another, and it's usually the legal document that does it. So that would have to be my pick, conveyance kit, for now.
Okay. Seemed like there's a lot of names on the list that are common phrases like half-yearly sale and lowest-fares-guaranteed.com. Rick, do you like those names, or are those likely to get no type in traffic, so you wouldn't hold on to them for for 10 years because you're never going to get your 10-time return on investment?
Well, I mean, lowest fares guaranteed isn't horrible. I mean, if you hand registered for $8, then it's I get my 10 times return. You know, it's a tough list. I mean, you have to kind of get lucky on this one. This is like, I mean, I look at Secrets 101. You know, okay, if you're waiting for the guy that has that specific idea, maybe a long wait, but you know, there's something there. I'd kind of stay away from the last two of the TV Guide. Those look like trademark problems to me. I wouldn't mess with those. You know, it's a tough list. I think Adam mentioned the one or two that, you know, is possible, and I don't know. It's all I can say is the guy is like close to being on the right track, but it's still, you know, his portfolio here. Like, let me give you an example. Ecoms Consulting. I mean, come on. E2MsSconsulting.com. Really? Come on.
Yeah. So in your opinion, you mean nobody's gonna ever even think of it to register? So just drop it.
You couldn't even advertise it. You couldn't advertise it on radio. You couldn't put it on a billboard. You couldn't. Listen, they did a study the other day, and I wish I would have done a blog post on it, but it was something like 40% of online business is still word of mouth. 40%. That doesn't meet the word of mouth test, which 40% of every dollar made comes from word of mouth. And if they can't, that's why the GTLDs may have so much problem, because, you know, when you were a kid, you used to be in third grade or kindergarten, and you used to play this thing, Pass the Secret, and one kid would whisper in the next kid's ear whatever the little phrase was, and by the time it went 2 or 3 down, it was all discombobulated. So that's the problem with many of these. So, you know, that's why I can go to like cheapest fares guaranteed. Okay, at least it's communicable to the next person.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Hey, Rick, maybe back in the 20s it was Pass the Secret. We used to call it broken telephone.
Okay.
I think it was broken telephone A.
Listen,
all right.
all I know is I was always in the middle, and I never got the right scoop either way.
So I'm sensing that, you know, Adam and Rick, you don't like this portfolio too much. I'm not going to beat a dead horse if you guys think that there's not a lot of, you know, you mentioned a few domain names that might have some appeal. Not a lot of them have a lot of appeal. Mike, Paige, is there anything that you think has redeeming value from the majority of this portfolio that you want to bring up?
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, if you're going to invest in domain names, you're going to spend your $10 a year on renewals. You might as well have something that has some potential for sale and some potential for selling for more than $500. So, you know, there's some names on this list that don't make any sense at all. Rick mentioned a couple, the two M's with an S. So obviously, there's one M too many at best. This Boozy, B-U-Z-I, cash, really doesn't mean anything. There's a few other names, a CBD Sports. I mean, it could be a network somewhere, and that's referred to as CBD, but then it's going to be a TM issue. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. You know, I mean, the only names I really saw on here that, you know, I think would be worth sort of renewing are, in addition to the ones that the gentleman raised, was, I thought City Comfort isn't horrible. Could be a bedding store. Could be something along those lines. Improving your sex life, I mean, improve would be much better. But still, you could see where, you know, that could have some value. He's got this Crystal Lodge name. I mean, there are places that actually exist that are called Crystal Lodge, which could be good, and that one of them might want to upgrade. There's somebody using a hyphen. There's a few using country codes. On the other hand, it's also, you could technically, you know, potentially lose that on a common law trademark. Certainly, if anybody actually had a trademark, you'd lose it. But I mean, there's actually places called that. And other than that, maybe now for lease, as just sort of a call to action kind of term. That's really all I see.
Yeah, the now for lease is sort of like join here now. I can see a button saying join here now, but I'm not sure what would be on a website that has a domain name join here now.
Yeah, I mean, I think there'll be better, more intuitive names that will be available again with the GTLDs. So I still think, it's all about that same report, that study that Rick referred to as the CU study. I have actually a hard copy of it. And really, if you look at it, excluding people that don't know anything about domain names, admittedly, don't know anything about the new GTLD program, it all comes down to brandability and memorability. So these words like kitchenware without the E, I mean, and kids, like Z's for S's, maybe at the end of the word, but certainly not in the middle of the domain. And then it has to make some sort of sense. It has to be memorable.
Yeah. Paige, anything before we close out the review on this portfolio?
Probably agree with everything that's been said. Internet Training Services, I thought, was probably the best name on the list. Just because training online is a business where you can close a sale, have someone actually take part in what you're selling online at that point. It's a long name. It hasn't really got a lot of play in the media. It's not like if someone did a news story, they'd say, hey, here's the top 10 internet training services. So it's not like it's really become a term of art that you'd want. And back to the comments, I thought Mike Berkens was right on, and so were Rick. It's okay, and people have been successful with brandable names where they substitute kitchen with no E for an N. But that's when they have the single word, and they're substituting for the single word. But when you come down and you've got a 2-word name or a 3-word name, and you're not spelling it right, or you're using a substitute or an adjective, you're pushing that name from being in the top, say, 10 million to the top 50 million to maybe the 150 millionth best domain out there. And you've just gotten so far from what's aspirational, what people would want to buy, that it's not that these things haven't worked before for somebody out there, but when you're holding an asset like the guys have mentioned, you just don't want to have that many what I call demerits against them, where you've got 2 or 3 inside of one name. And so that's why I would encourage this guy to aim higher. Put some names on a watch list and say, I'll see if I like it tomorrow. And save those spots. If you're only going to register 50 names, make them valuable. Treat them like it's a real scarce commodity for me to put a name in my portfolio to take up room on this list. And aim higher. So there's my learning.
All right. Well, Jeff heard which ones you liked and which ones you can free up some capital. Adam, I wanted to end with you. In addition to what you're going to say also, Jeff wanted to know if you could only select one domain on the list, Adam, to develop, which one would you select and why?
Okay, let me just go over the portfolio because there's some learning examples here for people of what not to do, and I don't want to ridicule Jeff. I just want to point it out so that Jeff can learn and other people can learn things to avoid.
Sure, exactly.
And one of those is redundancy. So if you've got cash currency, they're 2 very similar words, so you really would want cash currency money.com or something like that. And what Michael was referring to is CBD Sport. It's a trademark typo on CBS Sports, a huge sports site. The D and the S are right beside each other. So you want to avoid stuff like that. The Crystal Lodge stuff, the naming the hotels and stuff, that may have been good about 5-6 years ago. And it's clear that he's big on the keyword now, which is ironic because the portfolio is not ready now. He's going to have to do some massaging on it. But there are a lot of real redundant keywords in here. But there's also some branding opportunities with jobs here now. But he's going to have to spend money to do that, and he'd be better off spending money to buy better domain names. Improving your sex life, Mike's right. There are a lot of ebooks out, but it's called Improve Your Sex Life. I guess Mike has a few of those.
Yeah, write them, baby.
Excellent. You'll have to share the best secrets of it. Give me the what is it, sex tips for dummies later.
Live at Traffic, I'm sure.
Yeah, and Rick's right about those TM names. The creative school I thought is good for an art school or a drama school. I thought that's not bad. And then Quit Smoking for Life is also brandable. So, but if I had to pick one out of all this, I'm still going to stick with Conveyance Kit because it's a real product that people are looking for currently, and lawyers sell them, and so does Find Documents and those other companies.
All right, there you go, Jeff. We hope that was helpful and that everybody else was able to learn from your portfolio. Thank you for submitting it. We're going to move on to our second user-submitted portfolio now. It was submitted by Jonathan Grant. The domain portfolio starts with bikehat.com and ends with Drawing Magazine. Mike Berkens, let's start with you. Which domains do you think are valuable, and in what way?
I haven't pulled that one up yet. Okay, I got it. Sorry.
No worries.
Okay. I mean, I think, again, valuable, conference phone calls. I mean, that's a big sector. I mean, free conference call is a huge,
enormous,
a huge business.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, that could be something. Bulk pins, possibly. I mean, pins are traded and they're manufactured. That's possible. Airline costs could be a cost comparison site. For different airline tickets, low power transformer, there is such a thing. Spa bath salts. Also, there are products obviously for the bath with a spa called bath salts. I would say that's probably it.
Yeah. Where would you, if you own those domains, Mike, and you were listing them for sale at Most Wanted Domains, what kind of price range would you put those in, would you say?
I would try to get some, we're $2,500 minimum on our site. I probably put them in around $5,000, maybe conference phone calls at 10, and see if that one flies. Airline costs we might be able to get, might list them for closer to 20. Something like that.
What's your general process for lowering prices on domains? Do you look at the number of inquiries you get per year, and once a year you do a bulk batch, and if they have no inquiries, then you lower the price, or how does that work, Mike?
I do it monthly, actually, as names come up for renewal. So I just try to get fresher information and stale. So that's part of it. Is how many inquiries I've gotten for a name over not only 1 year, but several years. That's certainly one factor. And I've reevaluated my whole portfolio as the last year as names came up for renewal, based on also new GTLDs coming out. So, for example, if you look, if we go back to the other guy's list for a second, and all of the names he had in, ending in .now or in now, there's going to be a .now. So if you have an end user that wants to buy something with now at the end, you're actually going to be competing with that registry that's going to have an unlimited amount of now names, airlines now, tickets now, blah blah blah, and you're going to have to. It's going to be a rough go, I think.
But in some cases, the .com will be more valuable. So if you look at mommyblog.com. If it's for sale right now, somebody's going to buy mommy.blog, and then they may find that they become popular and they might want to actually buy the .com because they're discovering that leakage is happening from the .blog to the .com, right? So you would hold on to those in that case.
Well, I mean, if you had a mommy.net, if you had a mom or mother or mommy, .now, yeah, but that's not what he had. He had multiple words ending in .now.
Right. So if it were multiple words, then that doesn't pass the test.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Paige, what do you think about the portfolio?
I didn't like it. Running it against the Esterbot stats, I can see where he's probably used that because each of the names is kind of above a certain threshold. Mm-hmm. But just because a name can make it into that threshold doesn't make it, a great name. So they could be good names, but I just don't see anything that would make them special. With this rare and valuable thing you have, which is only owning a name in your portfolio. So I was just kind of whiffed on the whole thing. Bike Hat. So there's a pure product name that if someone wanted to come up with I would use it for a new Bike Hat, and someone could come up with one that's better than the other one. So I'll say Bike Hat was the best of the list.
Wow, because the first thing I looked at was Bike Hat. I'm like, what is a Bike Hat? Is that like a hat that fits over your helmet? Maybe.
But at least if someone came up with that, it would have the pedigree of being the exact name that you wouldn't want bicycling hat or bike hats, or bike hat would at least be at the top of the food chain. However small that food chain is, at least it would be at the top. So that's where it would have some appeal to me.
Yeah. Adam, I went through one of your DNF college courses a year ago, I think, when you offered it, maybe a little bit longer. And one of the tactics that you were suggesting was to look at cities around your area and grab the cityplushotel.com. Edmonds Hotel is on the list. I know that's a city in Washington. Dixon, I'm sure that's a city someplace in the United States. Pentagon Hotels. A lot of people have to go to the Pentagon for meetings. Do you like those hotel names on this list?
I did take a look at them, and I have a little bit of a different opinion than some of the other panelists today. I don't mind a few things in this portfolio, and the hotel ones, I mean, I looked up, where was the hotel that we were talking about? Dixon Hotel. There's lots of cities in the U.S. Named Dixon. There's one in California. They're all over the place. They're not bad, but Pentagon Hotels has the most value out of the hotel names because there are a lot of hotels listed under Pentagon, hotels near the Pentagon. Mm-hmm. So that would be good. But there's a couple others I like in here. Like I like Bulk Pins because I think it would be an excellent marketing site for Pinterest, for social networking on Pinterest, since they call everything pins. Mm-hmm. Or people would go and they buy Facebook likes and Twitter likes, where they could buy bulk pins. Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I'm here, Michael. Just kidding. Also, I liked welcomegreeting.com because I think that would be good for a voicemail or answering service. So I think that could be decent. Home improvement loans, people are always looking for, or home investment loans, sorry. People are always looking for home investment loans. I'm always looking to invest in other people's homes and take over mortgages and things like that. So I think that's decent. And I kind of like Drawing Magazine because if you've got a good product or a magazine or you're into drawing or art, I mean, it's a great, and there's lots of people that still do penciling and stuff, and sketching. So I think that's also brandable. But I would say out of all of them, the conference call one's okay too. And Paige came up with a good point about BikeCat. If you're going to come up with a specific product mm-hmm. and you want to launch it, and I originally thought motorcycle helmet, but okay, we can go with a hat for bikes, and now you've got a complete brand. But obviously you've got to come up with a product or find somebody with a new product that doesn't have a name, wants to rebrand. So that's not that easy. But out of all of them, I'm probably going to stick with home investment loans.
And what kind of price tag would you put on that for an end user?
$10K, $5 to $10K, easy.
And if he wanted to liquidate it today and he went on to DN Forum, how much would you recommend that he list it for?
Let's say $2K, $2 to $3K, $2,500 maybe. I mean, he could probably get it. It's definitely worth that. I mean, it's got a high CPC and it's terms that make sense. Home investment loans. It's not like it doesn't make sense like some of the other domains we've seen. It actually makes sense. So.
All right, Rick, let's go to you.
It could be another name for a mortgage company too, or second mortgage. It doesn't have to be looked at as home investments because that's what mortgages are anyway.
Yeah. What do you think, Rick?
Well, I'm kind of more in alignment with Paige than the most of the other panelists. I think I'm not that excited about the portfolio. The low power transformer, its low voltage transformer is what the name of the product would be. So that has no value to me. I think BikeCat is the best one on the list, even though it's basically an area that doesn't exist, but it could. It's hard to get excited. I mean, I just think there's, there's stuff, look, like I always, as a disclaimer, I never, without talking to the domainer and seeing what he sees through his eyes, it's kind of hard. But just at first blush, I don't see anything I would hang my hat on, something I could make a living on and say, you know what, if I had one domain and that's what I have, can I go make a living with it? Okay, and I go down the list, and I really just can't find one. I mean, it's, BikeCat maybe. Okay, but I have to come up with the product to match it, but okay, that's it. I mean.
All right. Next week I'm going to get something that makes you excited, Rick. We'll get a portfolio that makes you excited. So thanks to Jonathan for...
From your lips to God's ears.
for submitting this portfolio. All right,
quick comment, Michael.
Yeah, I got something too. Go ahead.
Okay, go Paige.
I have had some trouble with Pentagon names where the parking companies haven't always taken them, and even the marketplaces have bounced them a couple times. So
Interesting.
I'm not saying yes or no or what should or shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
But it doesn't always. I have seen them blocked before as a government term or something. Whether they should or shouldn't.
Right.
It is a little tricky.
Okay.
All right. A quick thing for me is, what's this gentleman's name again? I forget.
Jonathan.
Sorry. Jonathan. To Jonathan, on bulk pins, if you want me to work with you and develop it out into a viable business, I'll do it with you, and I would look forward to that.
Well, all right. There's an offer.
No charge. We'll do a sort of a split, hopefully, on the revenue.
Maybe a joint venture like Rick was posting on his blog just the other day. Somebody reached out to him. Cool.
I've had tons of users over the years approach me about joint ventures, and a lot of them are going very, very well. Better than I would have expected.
So speaking of offers, are there any domain names on this list that any of you four panelists would like to make an offer for? A cash offer, that is, besides Adam's very generous offer to partner on that one for development.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck, gentlemen. We hope this information was useful. We're going to move on to the second section now, which is domain portfolio. Last week, we looked at a list from Cedo's Great Domains Auction. This week, we just brought on a new DomainSherpa sponsor in October for the next few months, and we're excited about it. So I wanted to review some of the domain names that they have listed for sale. I wanted to point out that there is no compensation for highlighting today's list. It was not part of the sponsorship. Nobody on this panel is affiliated with DNX.com Marketplace, aside from DomainSherpa having them as a sponsor. And so no one's receiving any commissions for any of the domains. We've already cleared that none of the domains on the marketplace are owned by anybody on the panel. So just wanted to clear that. Having said all that, I want to know what's a good deal, what's overpriced, what might have good traffic, and what domains that you'd stay away from. The list is ordered by relevancy, so you need to go to dnx.com to look at how they do that. They look at relevancy like Google looks at relevancy, and they say who's bidding, how much is bid, how many people are watching it, those sorts of things, in addition to probably other factors that I'm not even aware of. It was ordered by relevancy as of 11 a.m. Tuesday morning. Some domains may have sold or decreased in price since I pulled the information. DNX.com is what's called a Dutch auction. So the prices decrease over time until either the domain sells, it hits a low enough price that somebody can't take it anymore and they buy it, or it hits a reserve price. And then if nobody buys it for the reserve price, then it gets pulled off. The list starts with Sozhou, Suzhou. It makes me want to think it's a Chinese word. I didn't look it up. And it ends with employers.net. Paige, let's start with you this time. Which of these domains do you think are a good value with resale opportunities?
I think Usury is probably the best name on the list by far. I've spent most of the day trying to think of what the next logical thing you would sell someone is. It's a compelling word. It seems like it should be taken. It's got a popularity, and I know the payday loans are a big thing where they run up against some of the usury laws in each state. And so I guess if you were doing things like that, it's a weird law in that most of the time the relief is to disband a transaction. So a lot of times you'll go borrow money and then later say they charged me too much interest, and then you try to get out of paying back the loan or something. But I think that's the name that was really compelling. And then I would probably buy online domain appraisal and online domain appraisals right here, right where they are. So if they're still available tomorrow, I'll probably give everybody about an hour after the show, and if no one's bought them, I'll probably buy them then.
Well, and the price has dropped since yesterday, and it'll probably drop even more. So yeah, check it out. Great. Look, what about you, Rick? Let's move over to you. And do you like any of these domains on here?
I hope I don't piss off your sponsor.
Well,
yeah, because Rick, if you were going to piss someone off, you'd change your behavior, right?
I don't think I need to worry about you filtering your comments, Rick.
Actually, no, it's not that bad. First of all, when it comes to country codes, I'm just really not the qualified guy to speak on them because it's just not my ballywag. I'm not really into the .nets. I mean, I looked at the usury.com. The only problem was when I did a Google of usury, there wasn't any commercial. No one was bidding for the term, so it's like it's a name but I don't know how to make money with it. So maybe it's good for a lawyer or something like that, or I mean, there's something there. The one that I kind of liked was Media Holdings, only because media is a very hard keyword to fill in. It's a very, very tough area to get anything in there. So that's a decent name for someone in that area. I like transceivers, but again, when I went to Google transceivers, there's no one bidding. There's no advertising, so I was kind of disappointed. I guess it's kind of almost a thing of the past with transceivers. But that's a great domain name for $500, and it's just if you're in the transceiver business, I mean that's a no-brainer. So that at least that's a good value. I mean, someone can make money with that. It's $500. I mean, anyone that needs that domain is going to pay 10 times that or more for it. So at least that's a solid investment. Astronomer.org, maybe, I don't know. I'm not into that much. That's basically it. I don't really see. The only thing I don't like about anything with domain names as a domain is we're talking about a small enough pond to begin with, and I just think it's very limiting. But that's why I don't do Domain King or anything like that.
All right, Mike, let's go to you. You've got tens of thousands. Do you have over 100,000 domain names in your portfolio at Most Wanted Domains?
No, never had that many.
Tens of thousands of domain names. What's working in parking. Do any of the names on the list give you an idea that they'd have type-in traffic and maybe generate parking revenue?
I mean, I looked at the XXX, the country code for New Zealand. It doesn't look like it does. Doesn't, I had a discussion with Mr. Schwartz about this off the show, but it doesn't have any sort of Alexa ranking or Quantcast ranking or Compete ranking, and although all those services are far from accurate in determining how many visitors a site has, I think, when they come back with zeros across the board, I have to assume they have minimal to no traffic.
Hey, Mike, let me ask you a question, though. I always assumed that those services were based on real traffic to a website. If you have a great domain name that's just parked, will those services rank you higher, even if it's just type-in traffic?
Yeah, if somebody has the Alexa toolbar installed or just wants to go look, it actually will even rank things that don't exist, as long as they get traffic. So, for example, lettera.com, which, as we know, is a reserved name, is not available, has never been active, never been used. I mean, it has an Alexa rank of 3,750, has a Compete rank of 91,000, and a Quantcast rank of 26,000. So there's a name that doesn't even exist that gets a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
And so it does actually rank everything regardless of whether it's a park page or a developed page or even a domain that doesn't exist.
All right, so you checked out that New Zealand domain and you didn't see any traffic going to it.
Any traffic. I checked out the Chinese one, which is the first one. There is a city in China, but this looks like a misspell of it, where the second letter being an O is a U, and then that is actually a city in China. But Google's auto-correcting it to the one with the U, and I'm not sure exactly what this one means. So if it was a place, I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not sure it's a place.
Yeah.
Other than that, the name I like sort of the best is the same as Rick, which is Media Holdings. It applies to, even in our space, there's demand media, there's name media, of course there's domain holdings. It seems like a very, good name for a company, something I could see selling, to an end user for $25,000. Other than that, the usury one is just very negative. It's just such a negative term because, it's illegal. So it's interest rates. When it gets to a point of being past legality, it becomes usurious. I mean, so it's I don't know. It's kind of like drug deal, cocaine dealers.com or something. I'm not really sure what you can do with it. Possibly an attorney would want it. I own thousands of legal names. Attorneys are a tough crowd trying when it comes to buying names. So
Present company excluded.
Yeah. Right. Well, as a real practicing attorneys.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So it's a good. I mean, it's an interesting name. I know it has some good stats to it, but it's an illegal activity, so I'm not sure what you do with it.
Yeah. Adam, what do you think? Do you like any of these names from a development standpoint, or any of these names as a buy and hold?
Yeah, I mean, I did a pretty good analysis on this portfolio. The city Michael's talking about is a city in China. It's got 1.5 million people. It is just a typo. I tend to agree with Mr. Berkens on the usury. I mean, it's a practice of making unethical or moral monetary loans, and the synonym that most people give for it is loan sharking. So I don't know if you want to put up a site that says you're a loan shark, but it's not something I'm interested in. AIUK stands for Amnesty International, and the UK uses amnesty.co.uk. So I don't know if you want to really hold on to that either, because it's kind of a charity. I do like Media Holdings. I think it's a good name, a good brandable name for a company. I like what Paige said about the online appraisals. I think those are good names. I'm okay with cellphones.co.nz, as we say here, not Z. I think that's okay, and I think digital remastering, if they still do that, it's been a big business for a long time. So I thought that was okay. Pennies.net, for about 8 months now, we've gotten rid of the penny here in Canada, so I think once the States wises up and opens their government, they may actually get rid of the penny eventually. And astronomer, I'm just going to throw in my astronomer opinion here, is we spend billions and billions of dollars on space to go up there and put our foot and our flag up there. Maybe we should feed all the hungry people in our own countries before we spend money on that. So not big on astronomer either.
All right, we got a little commentary as well. Love it. All right, so there we go. There's an introduction to DNX.com. And if you like any of those domains, get over there as quickly as possible. I know that I checked out MediaHoldings.com, and I believe it's at a reserve price. So that one will be pulled off and not for sale at some point over the next 24 or 48 hours.
And
All right.
usury's close, too, on its time period.
Is it?
Usury's close on its time period, too.
All right. All right, Sherpas, we're going to enter the lightning round. First up, registered or available. Here's how it works, Paige Howe. I'm going to name 3 domain names without looking them up. You tell me if you think they're registered or if they're available for registration. Last week, we had a tie between Paige and Adam.
Tiebreaker.
Let's see if anyone can go 3 for 3. Rick, the pressure is on.
Well,
I'm not talking about statistics here. I don't want to throw out what the average is, but the pressure's on for you, buddy. I got faith in you.
I've only gotten one right in 3 weeks, I think. So,
This week's Domain Sherpa show was
I
with
think that's a winning. I think that's the winning percentage of the New York Giants.
This week's Domain Sherpa show on Monday was with the CTO of Registrar Melbourne IT. We discussed domain name theft and security in the wake of the Syrian Electronic Army hacks of the New York Times, Huffington Post, and Twitter, which had Melbourne IT's name as the registrar or used one of their resellers. So I wanted to figure out what was going on with that. He was very generous to come on, talked about how domain name hacking works and how you can be safe. So the domain for today is domainnamehacking.com. Adam Dicker, is it registered or available?
It's registered.
Mike Berkens, is it registered or available?
I'll go available.
Paige Howe, is it registered or available?
I'll go registered.
Rick Schwartz, is it registered or available?
registered.
And the answer is Mike Berkens is in the lead with available.
Wow.
Wow.
All right.
That'll
0.
get taken
Come on, Rick.
when
You can
this
do
goes.
it. buddy.
That'll be gone by tonight.
Next up, last week, Mike Berkens was in London at a new GTLD conference with Frank Schilling said that .coms will be like AM radio, and the new GTLDs will be like FM radio. Mike blogged about his statement on thedomains.com, and a firestorm rained down in the comments section. I found it very interesting what was discussed. I think a better analogy, we could talk about a better analogy in the after show. But it was an interesting discussion, so I wondered if amdomains.com was available. You tell me. Paige Howe, registered or available?
Registered.
Rick Schwartz, registered or available?
Available.
Adam Dicker, registered or available?
Registered.
Mike Berkens, registered or available?
It's an actual country code. I'd say definitely registered.
And it is registered. So everybody got that one except for Rick. All right, the last name of the domain.
We all have our calling, and this one ain't one of mine, pal.
And if you want FM domains, give me a call.
First
So
of all,
if you play
wait,
craps and you bet against the
wait a
roller,
second. I want a handicap at the next show, first of all, okay? Or I want to at least, how about a designated hitter? It's like a pitcher coming up to bat. I can't hit this one out of the park. No how, no way.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want, I'm sorry, Mike Seiger. If you want FM domains, give me a call.
love it, Paige. And the fact that you remembered that you actually have that one registered. That's
why I had to check and see if I got AM also. So anyway.
All right, here's the last name of the day. Adam Dicker has the #1 most popular Sherpa show on Domain Sherpa, where he teaches how to sell a domain name. The show continues to receive comments of gratitude, but I wondered, is how to sell a domain name.com, all 6 words, available or registered? Let's start with Mike Berkens.
I'll go with registered.
Rick Schwartz.
Registered.
Paige Howe.
Oh.
Available.
And Adam Dicker. Oh, I can't hear you, Adam.
It's okay. I'm going with registered.
You're going with registered. And it is registered. So everybody got that one right. There was no shutout for Rick Schwartz. And the winner of the day with a sweep is Mike Berkens. Nice job, Mike.
Wow, good Mike.
I think you've won once
That's
before,
the
so
first.
this might be your second time. I need to go
Yeah,
back.
this is my first time.
First time. All right.
So-
Yeah, Mike.
Cash. Send cash.
All right. What do you guys want to discuss in the after show?
Mike, I got something for you.
What do you got?
I'm going to turn the tables on you, and I've got a registered away for you with a few domain names that relate to you.
Oh, damn it. All right. Go for it.
And then the other thing,
Should we save
that's
this for
what
the
I want.
after show and suck people in?
Yeah, we're doing the after show. It's going to
Okay.
be good.
All right. What else? Do you have another topic, Adam?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Mike, anything for the after show?
Let's talk about Mr. Schilling and the new GTLDs.
That sounds
And
good.
why I think, dollar for dollar, pound for pound, his unit registry will be the most successful new GTLD operator.
Wow. All right. And I want to talk about why I think AM domains is a bad analogy. Paige Howe, what do you want to talk about in the after show?
I'll talk about what everybody else wants to talk about. I think we should spend about I'll tell you what percentage of time we should spend talking about new TLDs as part of what I talk about. So.
Hey, Mike, sorry, I got something else.
Yeah.
Should people register their own name and their family names and stuff like that?
There you go.
All right. And Rick, any topics that you want to discuss in the after show?
I'm old. I forgot what I wanted to talk about.
Did
so
you
I'll
want to
probably
talk
think
about United Internet buying Cedo?
Sure, we can talk about that.
Did you want to talk about Mike Berkens' emancipated.com sale?
Yes, we can talk about that.
Do you want to talk about GoDaddy buying another company?
Yeah, consolidation, baby. I'm telling you, it's coming big time. You're seeing all the fingerprints and handwriting on the wall right now. It's happening.
It's happening. They've got a strategy and they're executing. All right. Anything you guys want to promote before we conclude the show? Rick, how's traffic looking?
It's coming along well. Lots of people are registering. On let's see, the show. So tomorrow at 6 p.m. or midnight. Tomorrow at midnight, the prices of the rooms go from $275 a night to $399 a night. So $124 a night increase. So it's pretty significant. So all I'll tell you is get your rooms immediately, because after Friday they're going up. We're trying to hold them on till Monday, but we got them till Friday at midnight anyhow. So
Yeah.
then
Get your rooms. It sucks to have to go walk down the street to your
You
hotel
don't
when
want
you're
to walk.
hungover and drunk.
Let me tell you
or whatever.
something. For whatever few dollars you'll save not being in the host hotel, I'm telling you, you'll make it back 3 times over by being refreshed and not being wet if it's raining or hot if it's hot, and which it won't be. It'll be a great time of year, actually. It'll be nice outside.
Yeah.
But you'll see it's much easier to take a few-minute break and be refreshed and go to your next meeting and do what you have to do. So the few dollars a day difference really does pay dividends.
Yep. Paige Howe, anything you want to mention?
Come on down to the outlet if you want to get some better names. We have some new investors that have come back 3 or 4 or 5 times for more and more names. So it seems to be doing well. And a shout out to a fellow domainer, Steve Kaziev, helped me out today with the name. So thanks, Steve. You're a great guy.
I saw that on your whiteboard back there. Steve was so important he bumped .la off. You still love LA. It's still there, but I think
I'm going to buy a whiteboard next week.
Mike Berkens, anything you want to promote?
We could chat about a couple of things. I don't have anything to promote. I was wondering, we could chat about what people thought about potentially leasing a name like US.com out, as in running their business operations on it long term.
Good.
Adam, anything that you want to mention?
I've mentioned a few topics already. The only other thing I want to talk about is, and it relates to what we've been doing about the portfolios we received and who would actually benefit the most from attending the traffic conference.
Okay. All right, we're going to come back and start with that in the after show. If you receive benefit from today's show, please post a comment below. Thank today's Sherpas. If you can think of a way that we can improve the show, you've got a different idea for the introductory portfolios, shoot me an email, michael@DomainSherpa.com. I love to get feedback. Thanks to Jeff Staniforth and Jonathan Grant for submitting their portfolios for review today. We hope it was useful. Thanks again to our Domain Sherpas for sharing their experience and insights. We'll see you all next time. Click play below to watch the after show.